Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for another stream, as always, on a Sunday evening to discuss the current game week, which is game week 3. So welcome everyone to KNEEJERK. And how you doing, Jordan? Is everything good? How has your weekend been?
In terms of football, it's been absolutely ecstatic. Football this week has been, I don't know, it's one of those game weeks where madness has happened. Obviously, we saw what happened just a moment ago, but yeah, lots to talk about, I think, in this knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, we're going to get into it because, I'm still a bit, buzzing after that win for Liverpool, 2-1 with a late Nunes goal, but we'll get into all of that. And, let's talk about how game week 3 has gone for both of us, because I think there is a lot to discuss. So let's start off with my team. It's on the screen for you guys. Let's start off with Pickford in goal. So, I went Pickford at the start of the season, and it looked like it was turning out to be a bad pick. But then, as that game went on, it looked like Pickford was going to get his clean sheet. But he conceded in, I believe it was the 90th minute or 87th minute. It was very late on. Pickford lost his clean sheet, which was very annoying in that 1-0 loss. And I believe that was Wolves' only shot on target as well, that Pickford conceded from. So very unfortunate, I'd like to think. So that was a bit of frustration. So Pickford only ends up with 2 points. Moving on to the back three, let's start with Estupinian. Now, maybe a lot of us didn't see this one coming. Brighton actually lost 3-1 at home to West Ham. West Ham were brilliant. Brighton, I didn't watch the game, but I heard, West Ham didn't have much of the ball, but when they got the ball, they were just clinical in what they were doing. And Bowen, obviously, shout out to Bowen, who was brilliant in that game. And look, Brighton in quite a big defeat, 3-1, which is a bit of a shock. But Estupinian ends the game week with only 1 point. Moving on to Ben Chilwell, a bit more success here. 6-pointer for him. And he could have had a lot more, if we're being honest. For those that didn't watch that game on Friday night, Ben Chilwell should have really scored. He dribbled past a couple of players, and then he's literally one-on-one with the goalkeeper. All he has to do is slide it into the bottom corner. He decides to pass the ball to Sterling. I don't know why. But he should have really scored. However, obviously he gets to 6 points for the clean sheet and the minutes played. So I'm happy that Chelsea did keep a clean sheet, which was expected, to be honest. And finally, moving on, the transfer in I made was Ruben Diaz, as you guys know. And I didn't watch the game again, so you might have to tell me how it went, Jordan. But we know Haaland missed a penalty, who we'll come on to. But Ruben Diaz conceding a goal against Sheffield. Unfortunately, Man City couldn't keep a clean sheet. I thought they would. Just my luck. When I bring him in, they concede. And hopefully next weekend, I think they've got Fulham. So hopefully they get a clean sheet next week. But Ruben Diaz with a blank. Moving on to the midfield, a bit of a mixed bag. So Mbeumo, starting off with him. We know it was a 1-1 draw for Brentford, and he played 90 minutes. Couldn't get a penalty this week, so he just ends up with a blank. Moving on to Manchester United, which is the big discussion point as well, because Man United were a big talking point pre-game week. A lot of us were saying, should we sell potentially Rashford and Bruno, because how they went in game week 1 and 2 wasn't great for Manchester United assets. However, for those that held on to Rashford and Bruno, well done you, because it's definitely paid off. Rashford ends up getting a nice 7-pointer from his assist for one of the goals. And we'll take that all day. I didn't want to sell. I know a lot of people did sell or contemplating selling, but I was wary because the fixture was so good at Forest at home. I just wanted to hold. So 7 points, should have been 8. We did get a yellow card. But he ends with 7 points, and I'm pretty happy with that. Bruno Fernandes, let's start off with him for a lovely 12-pointer, which again we knew. I said many a time, all he needs is that penalty, and he did get a penalty. So look, very happy with the way it went for Bruno in terms of FPL. 1 goal, 1 assist, and the 3 bonus points as well. So can't really complain. He also got a yellow card for just arguing with the ref, which was annoying. But 12-pointer. And yeah, happy to hold him. Moving on to Bukayo Saka now. Interestingly, Arsenal did draw at home to Fulham, and Arsenal actually had a penalty in that match. And when that penalty was given, we all obviously thought Odegaard would take. However, it looks like Saka is the penalty taker again, because I think it was just a one-off game where Odegaard took it. So if Saka's back on penalties, then he becomes a great asset again. So yeah, Saka gets the goal, and he also gets the 1 bonus point for a nice 8-pointer there. Moving on to his teammate Martinelli, not as successful. So that is now 3 blanks in a row. I think, sorry, no, 2 blanks in a row, because he did get an assist in game week 1, Martinelli, but no goals in 3 games. And he could be one that I look to offload, but he ends up with a 2-pointer, getting a blank. So yeah, a bit unfortunate from Arsenal there. I don't think they had a great game, a lot of their players, but look, that's definitely one to I'm considering taking out Martinelli, but it will do for now. Moving up top, a bit more success. Let's start off with my transfer in, which was Jackson, and he goes and gets his first goal in the Premier League as the Chelsea player, which nice to see. First half, it looked like Jackson was going to be a frustrating player where he doesn't get the goal because he had a few iffy moments, you like to say, in that first half. However, Sterling, who Jordan will come on to later on the stream, puts a nice ball in for Jackson, and yeah, Jackson couldn't miss really, and he ends up with a 7-pointer, and he also picked up a 1 bonus point, I believe. So yeah, nice to see Jackson getting a return, and that transfer has definitely paid off, taking out João Pedro, who I believe was benched yet again. And then finally, moving on to Erling Haaland, my captain. Now, again, I didn't watch this game, but I heard Haaland missed a penalty, which is a bit of a annoyance. But again, Haaland's so highly owned, I don't think it matters too much if him missing a penalty. So obviously got the -2 for that. However, he did score, and obviously in the minutes played, because he's my captain, 8-pointer. So yeah, Haaland, he gets the goal, but it could have been a bit more. But yeah, that's pretty much how the team has gone so far. And then on the bench, as you see, I've got Turner, who actually outscored Pickford. Gabriel, I have him on the bench. And again, Gabriel didn't start, stayed on the bench. So if you have Gabriel, guys, make sure you get rid for sure. Kabore with the 1-pointer, and Archer with the 0 point. So all in all, I'm quite happy with how it's gone. 57 points all out. I think that's quite respectable at this stage of the season. The ranks, again, I don't really look at ranks too much at this stage of the season, but it is 931k. I think it was 1.9 million, so I've pretty much halved my rank. Yeah, 57 points all out, guys. Let me know what you guys think of your game week, and obviously my team as well. But yeah, fairly satisfied. Not amazing. Can't complain with the green arrow, definitely. So yeah, that's my team, guys. 57 all out. Let's move on to your team, Jordan, because obviously you've got quite a lot to chat about as well. Because big increase in rank, and you had the man of the game week, really.
Yeah, it's been a very exciting game week for me. Let's start off with obviously Edison. Let's get him out the way. Yeah, basically that Man City game, as usual, Man City had most possession throughout the game. I think mostly 80% through the first and second half of that game, but somehow they managed to concede to Sheffield United due to Kyle Walker's mistake at the back. His misplaced pass was completely wrong, and it directed it right towards a Sheffield United player who ends up scoring, obviously against Man City. So the clean sheet was wiped due to Kyle Walker's mistake at the back. And yeah, Man City still won the game 2-1 in that massive turnaround near the end of the game, because I think Sheffield United scored in, I think, the 87th minute. So it didn't take them long, Man City, to get that second goal at the end from, I think, Rodri, who was assisted by Foden, crazy enough, who came on in those last minutes. So yeah, no clean sheet for Edison, and that's a 2-pointer for him. Moving on to defence, obviously Estupiñán in that 3-1 loss to West Ham. Now, I was utterly shocked at how well West Ham did away to Brighton at home, because I thought West Ham throughout that whole game were the dominant force. Brighton had their chances, but Areola at the same time kept them in the game I feel like, for West Ham. He was brilliant throughout that whole game. He saved so many shots from those Brighton players that effectively they only scored one past him. And obviously West Ham didn't miss any of their chances and obviously scored 3, obviously against Brighton. But I thought Antonio was like a wrecking ball and a demolition man combined in that game. He was pretty good up front as a lone striker for West Ham. He really did well. But yeah, only 1 point for Estupiñán. He got a point taken off of him because obviously he conceded 2 goals. So yeah, that leaves him with 1 point, no clean sheet this week. Moving on to Udogie, who was one of my transfers in for game week 3. And yeah, this transfer paid off massively. He got 1 assist from assisting Kulusevski's goal, and he got obviously the clean sheet. And on top of that, he got the bonus 3. Now he did get he did get taken off in the 80th minute due to suspected injury. However, the manager did clear it up and said, Udogie's fine. It was just a precautionary substitution, so he should be obviously available for the next fixture. So yeah, a massive double haul from Udogie, a 12-pointer. So yeah, I was very happy with that transfer in. It very paid off for me this week. And finally, moving on to Trent, who gets his 1-pointer. He got a yellow card in that game very early on. Could have got another yellow card, but thankfully not. In that 2-1 win, a massive 2 goals by Darwin Núñez in the dire minutes of that game completely robbed Newcastle of that win. And yeah, no clean sheet for obviously Liverpool yet again. So that's 3 blanks now for Trent. So yeah, thinking about what to do with Trent, obviously, come game week 4. Now we move on to the midfield. We start off with Mitoma, who only gets his 1 point in that 3-1 loss against Brighton. The only thing he got in that game was a yellow card. He did have moments in that game where he could have potentially scored, but he was denied by Areola, who obviously, like I mentioned, did really well keeping Brighton at bay. And especially the players who marked Mitoma as well kept him quiet throughout that game. So yeah, only losing with 1 point. And now we move on to the man of the man of the team, I would say for mine. And yeah, this was my second transfer in. I did get rid of Bruno Fernandes in place for Raheem Sterling, and he gets a 19-pointer for scoring 2 goals, 1 assist, 1 point for clean sheet, and the bonus 3 on top of that in that 3-0 win over Luton. Now I was ecstatic, and obviously I saw this game because I had a good feeling Sterling was going to do well. I didn't think he would do this well though, getting 2 goals and obviously 1 assist. So yeah, I was very happy with that. I think that's the best 2 free transfers I've done in fantasy ever. So yeah, I was quite chuffed with that 19-pointer from Sterling. And now we move on to Saka, who gets his 8-pointer in that 2-2 draw against Fulham. He did score 1 of the goals for Arsenal, and he did get a bonus 1 on top of that. So yeah, it was a quite eventful match. It was nice to see. Now we see Saka taking penalties. So yeah, it was just a one-off, I think, little giver for Odegaard, I think, in that last game. So yeah, thankfully we can not worry about Saka not being on penalties, as that made it pretty much clear. Next we move on to Foden, who literally came on for 4 minutes in that 2-1 win against Sheffield United. But it was a very important 4 minutes for obviously Phil Foden, because he did assist that second goal where Rodri did score against Sheffield United. Now I was quite gutted that Foden didn't start in this game, because I really had a good feeling he would do well. Just from playing 4 minutes, managed to get 1 assist. If he had played the full 90 minutes, I can't imagine what his points would be. But I'm still happy he got obviously the 4 points from the assist. So I can't complain about that. He could have potentially blanked in that fixture. And finally, we move on to Mbeumo. he did get his blank against Crystal Palace in that 1-1 draw. I thought Brentford in that game, it was pretty tight. They played really well in the first half, and they sort of dropped off in the second, and that did allow Crystal Palace to score, I think, from Anderson in that very messy goal. I think the goalkeeper for Brentford should have done much better. He kind of fondled the ball around, and obviously Anderson did like a little flick of his leg, and his toe managed to get it past him, and which led to the goal. But yeah, only 2 points for Mbeumo this week, so he was quiet in game week 3. Finally, we move on to the front two, and first we got Nicholas Jackson, who gets his first goal for Chelsea, and he gets his bonus 1 on top of that. So it's a 7-pointer from Nicholas Jackson. Happy again. I didn't think he would score in that game, if I'm honest. The way he was playing, it looked like he was going to have one of those games where he wasn't going to score in due to... He felt like he was misplacing a lot. His shots were a bit wild, but thankfully from Sterling, he did manage to get a little tap in for him. So yeah, I was happy with that. Obviously, he's probably happy. He scored his first goal for Chelsea and got me to 7 points. And finally, we've got Haaland, who got his 8 points for the captaincy, obviously. He did miss a penalty. It did hit the post. Even though the goalkeeper was sent the wrong way, Haaland still managed to miss the penalty. And obviously, it ricocheted off the post and went out. But he did score, obviously, the first goal in that game. So I guess that balances things out. I don't think it really matters, if I'm honest. He's 91% owned by FPL managers, so it doesn't really matter how many points Haaland gets, but I guess it matters because we obviously captain him as well. And because of the captaincy, he does get 8 points. So it is a plus and not a negative. And yeah, that's basically how my starting 11 pretty much done. I'll just go briefly over the bench players. So Areola made 9 saves in that game. So you can just imagine how many shots Brighton did have against Areola, because obviously 9 saves is big. That got him 3 points alone, those 9 saves. So yeah, 5 points from Areola. He did outscore Ederson, so maybe, well, he was definitely a better choice. But next we've got Botman. He got 2 points. He was on for a 9-pointer until obviously Liverpool scored those 2 goals. We've got obviously Hill. He didn't play any minutes against Spurs. And Obama, the same thing. He didn't play any minutes against Brighton. But overall, this game week has been really, really good for me in terms of ranking points. I did get 65 points at the end of the game week, and a massive green arrow from 230k to 33k overall rank. So it has been a very prosperous week for me in game week 3. Could have been a much better game week, but I won't complain with the rank overall.
Okay, nice one. Obviously, great week for you, having the likes of Udogie, big differential, Sterling, another huge differential. Must be nice. Obviously, you've broken in as well to top 100k, or top 50k. So yeah, that's how both our game weeks have gone so far. We're going to get a few comments along the way. If you are just joining in, guys, make sure you drop a like on the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. And let's get into it. Ali Mac says, hi both. Jordan killing it. 150k overall for me.
That's good.
FPL agent as well. Hey guys, congrats to you, Jordan. Keep it up. I know it's hard, but I know you can do it. I had a massive green arrow from 2.9 million to 900k also. I wildcarded, and the crap part, Udogie on the bench for me.
Ooh. Oh, thanks, FPL agent, and sorry to hear that you bench Udogie.
Yeah, I think a lot of managers had Udogie on the bench, and they were hoping Gabriel doesn't actually come on. So I know some people got Udogie points off the bench. Who had Sterling captain, says Harry. Yeah, I mean, our community draft, we did go Sterling captain, I believe.
It did. You guys did captain Sterling, so yeah, that's one captain owner.
Yep, and that was good. Ali Mac, who are the best goalies to choose at either 5.5 or 5 or 4.5 price points? Look, I was going to say Ederson, but he conceded again today. I think Pickford I'm not sure. I mean, I went with him at the start of the season. I'm not as fond on him. I think Flecken might be the best one at 4.5 though. If I'm going right now, I'd probably go Flecken or Edison still. What you reckon, Jordan? If you had to pick a goalie, any goalie, would you still stick on Edison?
Honestly, I think I would pick Areola.
You got him.
Oh, that's true actually.
Yeah, but
anyway,
would you say Areola is the best to go with? Like, for example.
Yeah, I will probably say he is probably the best to go with, just because of he's a decent goalkeeper. He showed that in obviously that Brighton game of how many saves he managed to keep against him. He still got 5 points, obviously from that game, and he got a double haul against that 3-1 win over Chelsea, and even Bournemouth in that draw. He still managed to get 3 points. So yeah, I'd probably say to start off with Areola at 4 million has been pretty decent, and I'll say he's one of the best 4 million goalkeepers.
Yeah, Areola has been good. Obviously, the only worry was with him, like, is he going to start? Because there was rumors, potentially rumblings that Fabianski could start, but it looks like Areola is now the goalkeeper, and rightly so. I think he should start every game, and I think he's a good option, to be fair. I also like Flecken, as I mentioned. Edison, obviously, as well at 5.5. FPL Agent, can you please pop your league code? I haven't joined yet. I forgot. FPL Agent, the league code is actually in the description below. There's actually a link that you can click on and automatically join you into the league, and the actual physical code is in the link in the description as well. So do check that out when you can. Ali Mac says, I have had enough of Pickford. Yeah, look, I went Pickford as well. And yeah, it is frustrating because he should have really kept the clean sheet. Wolves scored with the only shot on target. It looked like he was going to get one, but then 3 minutes to go, he conceded. So yeah, it's not really worked out in our way, but hopefully, he can get something in the coming games. Harry says, yeah, I had Sterling captain. I finished on 79 points, so pretty good week. Oh, congrats, Harry, going Sterling captain. Pretty bold. But yeah, it did pay off, definitely. Because Sterling was amazing in that game. And I think a lot of people are now going to be debating, actually, we're going to move on to game week 4 and, early transfers. What are the players that we're looking at to bring in ahead of game week 4? Because it is an interesting kind of dilemma now, because a lot of these midfielders, just, we've seen like Sterling, even Maddison, a lot of people might be considering now. So yeah, I think game week 3, that's how we've done. I think we should discuss game week 4 quickly as well. Talk about early thoughts, early plans, and how our teams are lining up. So I might share my team first, and show you guys what my lineup is for game week 4. So bear with me for a sec, guys. I'm just gonna share my screen with you. Hopefully you can see that. Can we change the layout, I think, Jordan, to the old?
Yep, it's on the old one.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry. Is that correct? Hopefully that's fine. Is that fine, Jordan, that one?
Just to zoom in a little bit more. And
bear with us for a sec, guys. Hopefully you can. I'm just going to scroll a bit up. Yeah, that should be fine. So that is what my team currently looks like for game week 4. So just quickly reading it for you. We've got Pickford in goal, who's got Sheffield. I'm playing a back 3 of Ruben Diaz, Ben Chilwell, Estupinian. I've got a midfield 5 currently of Rashford against Arsenal, Mbeumo against Bournemouth. I've got Bruno against Arsenal, Saka against Man United, and Martinelli against Man United. Up top, I've got Haaland captain, and then Jackson, who got Forest. So straight away, I think the team looks pretty good. Main worry of this team, I think, is that Arsenal and Man United play against each other, and I've got 4 players in that midfield that play against each other, and I don't really like that. So I think initial thoughts for me, looking at my team, I've got 1 free transfer, and I think I've got 0.5 in the bank. Initial reaction from what I've seen so far is to do Martinelli out. So as it stands, I think Martinelli probably will be going for my team. He hasn't really done what I'd expected him to do. I expected a few more goals, and even watching Arsenal, he's not really getting into that middle part of the goal and getting shots off and stuff. He's more wide, which I don't really like. So I think Martinelli probably has to go, guys. Let me know what you think of my team and who you'd be taking out if you were in my position. So I'm just going to show you. Again, I got 0.5 in the bank. And, you know, if I was to take Martinelli out, so let's remove him. There is actually 3 players I have in mind. So obviously Maddison is one I've spoke about that I'm looking to bring in because I thought he was brilliant. He just got a 10-pointer as well against was it Bournemouth for the assist and the goal, wasn't it? And Maddison looks like he's high priority for me. So he's one. The other option I had was Foden. Now, obviously Foden comes on and gets an assist, but the worry is he going to play and start next game? There's that slight worry there. But Foden, again, is high on my list. And the other one is actually Raheem Sterling. Now, I know people might think it's knee-jerky, but we did mention Raheem Sterling last weekend when people said, you know, when we're talking, me and you, Jordan, about bringing Raheem Sterling in because of Chelsea's fixture run. And I am tempted to bring Raheem Sterling in. So as of now, I have to decide out of those 3 players, Sterling, Foden, or Maddison. I'm going to ask you that question, Jordan. If you didn't have any of them, I know you have 2 of them, but let's say you're like me, you don't own either of them. You get to pick one for this week. Who are you bringing in? Sterling, Maddison, or Foden? And why?
I'll probably, for this week, I'll probably bring in Maddison for this week, just because I'll say between each one of the fixtures that these players have, I think Spurs have the most easiest one against Burnley away. As you go think about, Chelsea have Nottingham Forest at home, which Nottingham Forest can be a funny team, as you saw against obviously Man United. And yeah, that's not a team really I want to put all my chips on to guarantee that. So I'd probably, and obviously Foden for rotation or starting, questionable. So I would go for Spurs player for this week in Gameweek 4, I think. Maddison.
So you're on Maddison, you think?
Yeah, I think I'd be siding towards Maddison for this game week. I think Spurs will do really well against Burnley.
To be honest, you know, Maddison is actually my main pick as well. If I'm picking if I'm picking out of those 3 players, sorry, I'm just the reason why I go Maddison again, I just was impressed with the way Tottenham played, and I feel like he is the key cog, and everything is going through Maddison. You know, when I watch Tottenham play, you know, Basuma's picking the ball up, Mattis Sarr is picking the ball up. They're all trying to feed Maddison, and he's such a creative hub. And again, with Maddison, you take a look at his fixtures just very quickly. You know, Burnley away next. I think it's a nice fixture. Sheffield at home, again, good fixture. After that, it does get a bit tricky. Arsenal and Liverpool back to back. But then after that, look, Luton, Fulham, Palace, Chelsea. I do like the fixtures, you know, till at least game week 10. You probably wouldn't want to bench him in game week 6 and 7 just because of the type of player he is. He can still get you returns. And I think I'm going to be bringing Maddison in and then maybe look to bring in Sterling for one of the Man United boys next week in game week 5. Bring Sterling in for game week 5 when they've got Bournemouth. Because Forest are a tricky team, I think. They don't concede many goals. I know they conceded 3 against Man United. But I'm going to try to take that risk. You know, I could be tempted in taking a hit, guys. It could be worth taking a -4 for Sterling because that fixture is still a decent fixture at home to Forest. Maybe I bring in Sterling and Maddison. I've not ruled out a -4, just letting you guys know. So it could be a -4. But Maddison for me right now. Foden, again, I like him, but I need to see what Pep or Lilo, I think his name is, the assistant manager, says about Foden before I bring him in. But I think if I was to get rid of a player next week, so I'll get rid of Martinelli this week, and then next week for game week 5, I'll get rid of Rashford. I'll keep Bruno, I think, and then I'll get rid of Rashford for someone like, let's say it is Sterling. Sterling will come in because of that fixture against Bournemouth at home, I believe it is as well, in game week 5, and I probably want him for that away fixture against Bournemouth. And then I think after that, Villa, Fulham, Burnley. Okay, Arsenal's a bit tricky. Brentford, and then it does get hard in game week 9. So if you want Sterling, I think you want him now pretty much for the next 3 or 4 game weeks where he's got the easy fixtures, and then maybe wildcard him out if you are going for like a game week 9, game week 10 wildcard, because the fixtures do turn quite tricky for them after the game week 9. Arsenal, Brentford, Spurs, City, Newcastle, Brighton, Man United, Everton after that. So fixtures do turn massively really from game week 9 onwards. So if you want Sterling, guys, I think you want to bring him in soonish. He's already had a price rise as well. So I think he's one that a lot of us will probably be looking towards bringing in. But yeah, Sterling, Maddison, Foden, definitely those 3 I'm considering, but it looks like I'm just going to do the one move. I'll take a few comments and then we'll bring up your team, Jordan, and talk about your early transfer plans. Obviously, you had a great start to the season. I want to get your thoughts in terms of what you want to do. So I'll let you bring your team up on the screen. But just before I get you to tell us what you're going to do, I'm going to take a few comments as well. Yeah, Pickford away to Sheffield United, says Doherty, next week, so can't see a clean sheet. 68.
No
Yeah, look, it's not been great, has it, Pickford owners so far? Krogsberg, 68 points. Sterling and Chelsea assets really saved my game week from 3 million to 600k. Nice green arrow right there. By the way, what do you think about Ward-Prowse as an FPL asset, cheap and good? We got asked this last week as well. I mean, for me, and when you look at my team, just very quickly back to my team, midfield slots are so like precious. I don't really want to waste it on Ward-Prowse because there's so many good midfielders that I prefer. And I still believe Ward-Prowse is more. I know he's going to probably get more assists due to him being on set pieces at West Ham, who are pretty good in the air. But there's just too many midfielders I want personally. But look, you could take a punt on him if you think he's worth it. Not for me. What do you make of it, Jordan? Ward-Prowse?
Yeah, he did score with play, surprisingly. We were saying, I think, last week how James Ward-Prowse, we'd see him getting a lot of assists from obviously set pieces, but never scoring from open play, and he's actually proved us wrong by actually scoring one of the goals for West Ham in open play. But yeah, I would agree with us. At midfield spots are precious. There's so many midfielders that we want, and I don't think James Ward-Prowse fits really in either of our teams. But if you have a good feeling, like I did have about Sterling, then I would personally go for it, Kolsberg. If you think James Ward-Prowse is a good FPL option to go for in the midfield, and he fits into your team really well, then yeah, I would go for it.
FPL Agent says, guys, I just have some advice for you. Up to you if you think it's a good idea. Out of the small community that you have, ask them to comment on the upcoming game week. Ask them to comment on the upcoming game week and put it on the stream or video. Do this week in and week out. More people will feel the urge to engage and participate till the FPL Duo community grows bigger and bigger. Yeah, I mean, FPL Agent, we will definitely take your advice on board. So essentially, you want us to comment upcoming game week. Oh, okay, I see. And put it on the videos. Okay, cool. We'll try to do something like that. Maybe we'll tweet out something, and then, you know, if you want to message us on Twitter, FPL Agent, maybe DM us, the FPL Duo on Twitter, and we can chat on there, or join our Discord as well, guys. Discord link is at the top, also in the comments. Link in description. Join our Discord, and we could chat on there. I'm thinking of wildcarding and getting rid of Pedro, Watkins, and Bruno. Few tough fixtures.
Yes.
I mean, Bruno, he does have Arsenal next. What do you make of Bruno? Obviously, Jordan coming off with a 12-pointer. Bring up the fixtures. Would you be selling Bruno if you had him, or would you be just keeping him?
No, I'd sell him.
You sell him?
Yeah, I'd definitely sell him. Despite Bruno getting the double haul and Man United getting that win against Nottingham Forest, still don't convince me on Man United assets. Still, that might be completely biased as I'm a Man United fan, but if you guys saw the game, I saw the highlights of that game, and yeah, that looks pretty dire from Man United at the beginning of that. And
Yeah.
even though they pulled it back, as they do, if they're going to continue that through the whole season, let's just think about this. This is not the Forest doing that. I can't imagine what other teams may do, especially Arsenal, despite being it is an away fixture for Man United. So I don't know if I'll bode well with Man United assets.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Obviously, Man United haven't actually looked convincing, even though they did manage to turn it around 3-2. So credit to that. But yeah, fixtures, Arsenal, Brighton are going to be tough. Burnley, Palace, Brentford, Sheffield. I think for me personally, he's still currently a hold, but having double Man United, I think you don't need Rashford and Bruno. That could be overkill, which is what I currently have. I'll probably keep them. But look, I've already said, guys, -4 is not out of the equation for me this game week. I could take a hit to get rid of one of the Man United boys because I don't really want double Man United attack against Arsenal, who I think is going to be tougher fixture for them, being away as well. And then Brighton after that. I think you don't need both of them. But, Bruno could still return in those games because, as I mentioned, penalties, we've seen penalties is such a big thing this season. Likes of Mbeumo, likes of Salah, Bruno. All it takes is a penalty, and then boom, you've got a double-digit haul pretty much. So that's the reason why I'm still leaning. I think Bruno might be a better asset so far than Rashford if I had to pick out the Man United guys. But yeah, Sherwin as well again says, "Well done, Jordan."
Oh, thank you, Sherwin. There was one thing to mention in that Man United thing. Rashford's position did change back to what he was last season, left side, and that just shows what difference that makes when he plays in that preferred position instead of central.
Yeah, that's true because he was running at players more. He looks way more comfortable on the left side, Rashford. And when he's there, he feels like he might get you something, maybe an assist or a goal. So definitely Ten Hag has to play Rashford in that left-hand side, I think. Martial helped, I think, playing down the middle. Obviously, when Højlund is back from injury, Rashford will be playing that left-hand side and he could have an uptick in form. All right, Jordan, let's move on to your team. Talk us through the 11 that you have, and then transfer plans, early thoughts, and your ideas really.
Okay, so starting off in goal, we got Ederson, who has Fulham at home. The back three in defence, we got Estepinian, who's got Newcastle at home. Doggy's got Burnley away, and Trent, who has Aston Villa at home. In the midfield, we've got Mitoma, who has Newcastle at home. Sterling, who has Nottingham Forest at home. Saka, who has Man United at home. Foden, who has Fulham at home, and Mbeumo, who has a nice fixture against Bournemouth at home. And up front, we've got Nicholas Jackson, who's got Nottingham Forest at home, and Haaland, who's got Fulham at home, who's currently the captain. On the bench, we've got Areola, who's got Luton away, Botman's got Brighton away, Hill's got Brentford away, and Obama, who's got Luton away. So overall, in the starting 11, I feel like a lot of the players, have really good games, I think. There is one player that has stuck out for me from Game Week 3 that I may potentially transfer out, and I think a few of you can guess that. I think Huss can as well, because this player does come from, obviously, the team he supports. Now, if I just switch to the transfer page, I'll just show you. So I have got 3 million in the bank, one free transfer, and the player I'm probably thinking and considering taking out is Trent. Now, if we just see Trent's current points record so far, he gets 1 point against Chelsea in that draw. He gets 2 points in that Bournemouth win, and gets 1 point again now against Newcastle. So, and he has a price drop. So he is 7.9 million. I think personally, way too expensive to have in the team for what he's delivering. It's completely not worth it in terms of value or form or points. You've got players like, let's say, for example, Gusto. He got a 16-pointer at 4.1 million. So he's pretty much half the price of Trent and is outscoring him currently. And also, you've got Udogie, you've got Mighty Cash. He actually scored 2 goals today. That was surprising. No, Romero, you've got Anderson. All these cheap defenders are delivering, whereas Trent, he's not delivered a clean sheet. And obviously, that Liverpool defence does look obviously a bit woeful, especially Van Dijk getting that red card today, so he will miss next match, which is obviously not good for Liverpool. So yeah, Trent is potentially my transfer for Game Week 4. Now, I was, in terms of who I replace him with, I am tempted at Chilwell.
Okay.
Yeah, I may consider bringing Chilwell. I'm going to triple Chelsea. They do have Nottingham Forest at home. Now, this it's not really for the clean sheet that I'm bringing Chilwell in. It's for mostly the attacking form he does possess, because obviously in that Chelsea game against Luton, he could have had at least one goal and one assist from that game, as well as the clean sheet. So he could have had a massive haul in that game instead of having 6 points. So I think for the next 2 fixtures for Chelsea, you've got Nottingham Forest, then Bournemouth away, even maybe the Aston Villa at home fixture as well. But after that, Fulham away, Burnley away, you could potentially have Chilwell up until obviously when they have Arsenal in Game Week 9. So he's a long hold, I think, for my transfer, and I think a better player to replace obviously Trent with, who's basically not delivering for my team. So yeah, I think Chilwell for me would be my transfer going forward, and I have a lot of money in the bank as well, because obviously Trent is expensive.
Interesting. This is Jordan we're talking about. He's gonna go triple Chelsea. Are you slightly worried with potentially injuries? Or I know you were concerned about Chilwell potentially, obviously, that he does get knocks and etc. But with the way he's playing, I guess it's hard to ignore him.
Yeah, it is hard to ignore him. I think I got away with it a bit as well, because Chilwell could have potentially got a massive haul in that Luton game, and I didn't own Chilwell. Obviously, I did have Trent, who obviously didn't do well, and I just think I can get away with Chilwell as long as he stays fit. It is a risk I'm taking on it, and completely against what I've said previously about owning Reece James and Chilwell, but he seems to be keeping his own, so I think I'll take a little punt on it and see how it goes.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. I think we've been impressed with Chilwell, really. Salah, Foden, and João Pedro replacements got 2 free transfers. I think you may want to keep Foden if you've got him, because I think he's such a good player still when he plays. It's just, I think Foden owners were a bit unlucky. We didn't really know that he had an issue. He couldn't play the 90 minutes. He had some sort of illness, which was confirmed. But yeah, I'd probably keep Foden. But the players that we're looking at in midfield: Maddison, Sterling, Foden as well. If you've not got Mbeumo, Mitoma still there. I prefer Rashford in a bigger game than Fernandes, who's prone to getting a yellow card, maybe a red. Yeah, I think annoyingly, Rashford actually got a yellow card as well for kicking a ball away to the ball boy. For those that didn't watch that, Rashford also got a yellow card for just kicking the ball away. Vardiol v Udogi. Did Vardiol even start today? I'll probably go Udogi.
Guardiola did start today in that Man City game. Again, rotation. Does he start every game? Yeah,
that would be the worry if you had Vardiol. He did play actually, so but I think I'd go Udogi, just maybe more upside in terms of getting a clean sheet. No, not clean sheet, sorry, getting an assist. Maybe not a clean sheet for Udogi, but he's more attacking and he's more likely going to play every game, because Spurs don't have as many options as Man City do in defense. Guys, is there any way I can DM you one-to-one? Because on Twitter, I'm not being able to. I don't know why. Insta is good for you. Yeah, I mean, Instagram is fine as well. The FPL Duo _ on Instagram. You could DM us on there. I might have to turn my DMs on. I don't know. I think you should be able to DM us on Twitter, but yeah, you can Instagram us. Discord would be great as well. We can easily reply to you on Discord. So check our Discord server out. Tricky Trees, great game week, Jordan.
Thank you, Tricky Trees.
Trent says Harry. Trippier in as well, says Ali Mac. Yeah, Trippier's an interesting one. Might be on the what's it called, watch list for me. Definitely Trippier from game week 6 onwards, when the Newcastle fixtures turn. I think
there was one interesting thing before Liverpool scored, obviously, and broke the clean sheet for Newcastle. Botman was actually on the bonus free instead of Trippier, which was interesting. So I don't know, just because Botman played obviously defensively more better than Trippier, But it was interesting whether if that's just a one-off that the bonus points are going towards Botman, or obviously you usually see it coming from Trippier, which is just an interesting thing to see.
What do we think about moving Pickford to Areola? Thinking of getting it done and moving on. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I think you probably have other things that you need in your team. I wouldn't really want to waste a transfer on switching out my goalkeepers personally. But if you've absolutely got nothing else to do, then you could. But I always think, I don't really like changing goalkeepers and using a transfer on it. Accidentally use my bench boost. Says Adam 8. Ouch. Chilwell, a great pick, says Ali Mac. And Elliot with the comment of Vardy is ridiculously good going forward if plays him properly. Well, yeah, definitely. Obviously, we know. Obviously, he's a big signing for Man City. A great player, and he's going to get game time. Of course, it's just there is that slight worry. Akanji, Ake, Stones, etc. They have so many defenders that he could miss a game. But look, he's definitely a good option, I think. Thoughts on keeping Salah? What's your thoughts on Salah? Because yet again, Salah comes away, I believe, assist again today. I don't know if he got any bonus points. But yeah, Salah again, the 3 games, 3 attacking returns. He's not doing too bad.
Yeah, he plays with certain players more better than others. So when obviously Jota and Darwin Núñez came on, I felt like he plays around those players much better than Gakpo and obviously the other Liverpool replacements they had around him. I honestly think keeping him, I don't know. At 12.5 million, I'd want Salah to be scoring each game instead of getting obviously assists at that price.
That's a fair comment. You take a look at Liverpool's fixtures: Villa, Wolves, West Ham, Spurs, Brighton, Everton. So they're actually not too bad because a lot of Liverpool's tough fixtures. Newcastle was a tough fixture. Chelsea was a tough fixture. Both away from home, Liverpool have already played, and now it gets a bit more better on paper. So Salah could be an option. I'm not ruling Salah out if you've got him. You know me. I think Salah's a great option, but the problem is he's so expensive. Getting rid of him allows you to spread out the money, and that's where it comes from. I think Salah, if he was a bit cheaper, he'd probably be in my team. It's just he does take up a bit of that budget. So it's up to you. But I think Salah is still a good option, as he's shown. 3 attacking returns in 3 games. It's just whether you think he's worth keeping for that price. Is he scoring enough goals, really? But yeah, in regards to game week 4, it's looking like we're both going to do transfers in terms of you're doing Trent out. I'm potentially weighing up a -4. I've not ruled it out. So it's going to be an interesting one for sure. But yeah, what do you make of game week 4 wise? Game week 4. Like, are you happy pretty much with the way your team's set up?
Yeah, very happy. I think pretty much all my, apart from Brighton and Arsenal assets, I think there's good fixtures all around for my team. It's going to be interesting what Brighton and Newcastle do against each other, and obviously Saka, who's got Man United at home as well. But I'm quite confident with Chelsea against Nottingham Forest and Man City against Fulham, and especially Mbeumo against Bournemouth at home. Now, that could be a nice fixture for Mbeumo to bounce back in. But overall, yeah, it's been, I think it's a nice game week 4 all around.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. How long can I wait to gamble on price changes? I mean, I wouldn't rush for price rises, if I'm being honest. There is some Carabao Cup early round fixtures. I would wait till the last minute, guys. There's so much money in the bank, so I wouldn't risk bringing in a player because you never know. They may get injured midweek. We hear news, and then you've wasted a transfer. As we saw, people have done. They've transferred out Maddison because he was injured, rumored to be injured, and then he's fit on Saturday. He goes and gets a 10-pointer, and now we regret. The managers regret taking him out. So I wouldn't rush and remove players if you can. Wait till the last minutes because info is more important than 0.1 million this season, especially because because of the way players are priced and how cheap they are, maybe FPL have kind of made a mistake. I think it is too easy now to get the team we want, pretty much, and have loads of money in the bank. Like Jordan, after you sell Trent, you're gonna have like 5 million in the bank.
Yeah, you can, I think, this season get away with having a cheap team, which is at the moment doing really well. Like I've gone with a really cheap team in terms of team value, and it's so far working out for me. So I don't think going for value for money for players at the moment is the way you're going forward. Maybe going cheaper options, because those players are doing well so far.
Yeah, I agree. But I think we're gonna wrap it up here. We're gonna, just nearly an hour. It's been a nice stream. We are back again on Tuesday for the transfer tips video for Game Week 5. So make sure you tune in Tuesday, again 7 p.m. UK time, to discuss transfer tips, buy, sell, hold, ignore. And then we're back Thursday, team selection video. And then obviously back to Friday deadline. It is another Friday deadline. So make sure you guys tune in for that. But it is the end of the stream, guys. So for those that are still watching, all we ask for, guys, is a like on the stream. So if you are watching, if you are enjoying the content, please help support the channel, by dropping a like on the video, because it helps massively for the algorithm. And yeah, it just helps out a lot. So like the stream, subscribe if you haven't already, share the videos on your socials, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever you use. Tell your friend if they watch FPL content, tell them about us. And yeah, it's been nice chatting to you guys. We're back, as I said, Tuesday. And yeah, Elliot says, what's your score again, guys? Jordan, can you quickly pull up our scores?
Yep. Here you go, Elliot.
So 57 points for me this game week, 65 points for Jordan this game week as well. But yeah, that's it from us. Anything else you'd like to add, Jordan, before we wrap this stream up?
Just thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday weekend. Take it easy. And yeah, we'll see you Tuesday for the transfer tips. So stay tuned for then. Until then, take care.